Imagine two gardeners both tending the same plot of land. The first gardener, let's call her Amy. Amy talks to her plants every day. She waters them, she nourishes them, she speaks kind words to them. Amy goes into the garden and says, "Wow, you're growing so beautifully. You'll bloom soon enough, just keep reaching for the sunlight." Her words are gentle but firm and confident. And over time, her plants begin to thrive. Their leaves stretch out, their flowers bloom, and they grow tall and strong. And then there's the second gardener, Matthew. Matthew tends to the same type of plants, but his approach is different. He still waters them, but his words are harsh. "Ugh, you're not growing fast enough. Why are you still so small? You should be stronger by now." Matthew is impatient, and although he gives the same care to the plants in terms of food and water, all of Matthew's plants seem to be stunted. They don't grow with the same vibrancy, and their blossoms are sparse, they're few. Now, from the outside, it may seem silly to think that words could impact the plants, but I want you to think of those plants as a metaphor for our future selves, for the relationships that we nurture, and the very goals that we aspire to. Just like Amy's plants thrived under words of encouragement and patience, we too flourish when we speak life into ourselves and others. But like Matthew's garden, negative, impatient words stunt our growth and ultimately hold us back from becoming our best selves. Amy didn't force her plants to grow faster with her words, but she created an environment where they felt safe, supported, and nourished. Matthew's harsh words didn't make his plants grow any faster. They just added pressure and negativity into the soil. When we speak positively, we create the right environment, the right conditions for growth, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. When we feed ourselves doubt, negativity, and criticism, we limit what could otherwise flourish into something beautiful. As we dive into this topic, I want to begin with this question. In the garden of life, what kind of gardener will you be? You see, the words we speak, they're like seeds that are planted into the ground. If I were to plant a lemon seed, I wouldn't get back a lemon, I would get back a tree. The law of the farm says I wouldn't just get back what I sowed, but I would get back more than what I sowed. The words we put into the ground produce a harvest that can build bridges or burn them. They produce a harvest that can inspire greatness or tear down confidence. They produce a harvest that can uplift spirits or break hearts. Words are not just sounds or marks on a page. They are the very expression of our thoughts, our values, and our intention in life. They have that power to create or destroy, to unite or divide, to motivate or discourage. Japanese researcher Dr. Emoto did a science experiment with rice. He took 3 jars, filled them with water, and added rice. Once the rice was in the jars, he labeled each of the 3 jars. The first one was labeled, "You're an idiot." The second one was labeled, "Thank you." And the third one was labeled, "Nothing." For the next month, Dr. Emoto came to his science experience, and he would say to jar number 1, "You're an idiot." He would say to jar number 2, "Thank you, you're thriving." And jar number 3, he would completely ignore. After about a month, the rice that he was thanking began to ferment. It began putting off a strong, pleasant aroma. The jar he told "you're an idiot" to turned black, and the jar that was completely ignored began to rot. To me, this experience states that even science confirms that there's power in what we say. Our words are energy. They're high vibrations or they're low vibrations. They're positive or they're negative. Whether we realize it or not, the words we choose every day, because it is a choice, they have a lasting impact on ourselves and on others. And I can hear somebody saying, "Well, I just tell it like it is. I call it like I see it." But what if what you see is negativity and destruction? What are we doing, baby? One of the worst things we can do is call it like we see it. And I want to challenge you not to call it like you see it, but call it like you want it, because faith speaks those things that are not as though they were. Imagine being in a home where you have a cat and a dog, and every time you want the cat, you call the dog to come. Really, what I want is the cat to come here, but I'm saying, come here, dog. Hey, dog, come here. Stop calling it like you see it. Call it like you want it. And when you begin to change what you're saying, you will ultimately change what you're seeing. And that shift in perspective puts you in the position to win in life. The first question we need to ask is, how do words affect us personally? Have you ever caught yourself saying or thinking something negative about yourself? Perhaps you've said things like, I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. This is impossible for me. These may seem like harmless expressions of frustration, but the problem lies in their ability over time to shape your self-perception and limit your potential. Words are not just reflections of how we feel in the moment. They shape our reality. When we constantly speak negatively over our lives, we start to believe it. I heard Tony Robbins say that every time we speak something negative about ourselves, we are rewiring it back into our bodies. Those words take root in our mind, becoming the stories that we repeat to ourselves. And eventually those stories dictate how we see ourselves and what we believe that we are capable of. And I can hear somebody asking, can changing our internal dialogue really influence our success and our personal growth? I'm so glad you asked. Absolutely it can. When we shift our words, we shift our mindsets. And when our mindset shifts, so do the actions that we take towards our goals. Instead of focusing on what we can't do, we start looking for what we can do. And that begins to change our perspectives. And that change in perspective creates new opportunities for us. When we speak positively to ourselves, we are reinforcing a mindset of growth, resilience, and confidence. Then we begin to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. This is also where affirmations come into play. Affirmations are deliberate, positive statements that help transform negative thought patterns into transforming beliefs. Saying to yourself, I am more than capable of this, or I am worthy of success, is not just about feel-good words. It's about rewiring your brain to believe in your potential. Affirmations, they help silence self-doubt and replace it with a voice that champions your growth. Reframing negative thoughts is another essential practice. How about instead of saying, I failed, you reframe it as I learned? It's a subtle but powerful shift. This kind of reframe, it takes the wallowing out of mistakes and transforms them into valuable lessons. Growth comes not from avoiding failure, but from learning from it. And your words can either magnify your missteps or turn them into stepping stones. Let's talk about how our words affect others. In every conversation, we have a choice. We have the choice to uplift someone or to tear someone down. We've all experienced both sides of this. Maybe you had a day where someone's kind words made you feel unstoppable. In contrast, maybe you had a day where a single criticism knocked the wind out of your sails. That's the power of words. As human beings, we are deeply impacted by what others say to us and what they say about us. Another thought is that words can act as a mirror that reflects back how people perceive us. When someone speaks positively, offering encouragement, support, or gratitude, it can fuel our confidence, it can boost our morale, and even change the course of our day and who knows, maybe our lives. I don't know about you, but I will never forget the moments where someone spoke life into me. I will never forget the phrase they said. And in those moments where situations or challenges arise, I can lean back on the words of encouragement. But whenever we hear negativity, whenever we hear insults, whenever we hear doubt, it can create cracks in our self-esteem. And for those that lack confidence, it can make you question your worth or even your ability. The words we use in our relationships determine the quality of those connections. Words of kindness, patience, and understanding, they strengthen the bonds we share and make others feel valued. On the other hand, words of criticism, anger, or dismissiveness erode our bonds, leading to distance and conflict. In fact, the words we consume also impact us. The conversations we engage in, the books that we read, the media we absorb, they all shape our mindset and our emotional state. If you surround yourself with negativity, be it through gossip, through toxic social media, or cynical news stories, it affects your outlook in life. On the contrary, consuming positive, empowering content can uplift our spirits, inspire us to action, and contribute to our growth journey. Be mindful of the language that you allow into your mind. It will influence how you think and how you feel about yourself and the world around you. So how can we develop a more empowering vocabulary in our daily lives? Simply put, if you want to break a pattern, respond differently. Let's not overcomplicate this. It starts with making a decision to become intentional about our response. Moving forward, I challenge you to think of your words as tools and choose them wisely. We need to consciously select words that reflect what we want. If you want to be more confident, speak to yourself in words that will build your confidence. If you want to be more resilient, use words that emphasize your strength and your adaptability and your perseverance. One strategy is to keep a mental filter in place. And that is simply asking yourself, are my words helping or hurting? Are they moving me towards my goal? Are they moving me away from my goal? Am I calling it like I see it? Or am I calling it like I want it? This not only applies to the words you speak to yourself, but also the words that you're speaking to others. The last thought I want to cover is that the connection between words, intention, and manifestation is profound. What you consistently speak about, you move towards. When you express your goals clearly, both to yourself and to others, you create a clear direction. This is the whole secret of goals and why they work. They streamline your focus and allow you to start moving towards something as opposed to aimlessly chasing several things. When it comes to words, language is the vehicle for your vision. If you want to achieve something, articulate it, speak it out loud, write it down, share it with others. The clearer your words, the clearer your path. When communicating our goals both to ourselves and others, clarity is key. I want you to remember, if your words are vague, your path will be too. Be specific in what you want and how you plan to get there. Instead of saying, I want to be more successful, say, I will achieve X by Y date, and these are the 3 steps that I'm going to take to get there. This kind of clarity, it transforms abstract desires into concrete plans. So how do we ensure that our words build instead of destroy? It starts with being intentional. We must slow down and think before we speak. We must be keenly aware of the fact that the words I'm about to speak are going to have an impact either on myself or on the person that I'm talking to. Leave the notion of, well, I thought it, so I might as well said it. That is utterly ridiculous. Most of the things that we think are not worth the light of day. Always be mindful of, am I speaking to uplift, to encourage? Am I speaking to motivate? Or am I speaking out of frustration, out of anger, and out of fear? Positive speech, it doesn't mean ignoring hard truths or avoiding difficult conversations. It means choosing to communicate in a way that respects yourself that respects the other person and promotes growth rather than diminishing spirits. Words matter. And I want to challenge you to be a life speaker. Choose words that build rather than break, words that heal rather than hurt, and words that inspire rather than discourage. In doing so, we not only empower ourselves, we empower those around us to grow, to succeed, and reach their highest potential. Speak life and watch the world around you flourish. If you enjoyed this video, I'm gonna ask that you do me a favor. Would you like and subscribe to this channel? The like tells YouTube, give me more mission growth videos, and the subscribe tells me, keep making them. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.